Hello, this is Aleya, and we're speaking about the third principle of the seven gateways. The third principle embodies the concept that we are living in a multi-dimensional world. There are multiple dimensions happening in the same time-space continuum, and that the physical dimension is actually the reflection of all of these other dimensions. We also, as souls residing in physical human forms, have the capacity to change the physical dimension by making requests in the other dimensions where those blueprints, those templates are being held. So before I go into too much mental detail, I actually want to walk you through a meditation that helps you energetically feel this principle, and then the mind gets it. Now I invite you just to take a few deep breaths into your belly. To gather all of your energy into this present breath of now. If you wish, you can close your eyes. And we're going to ask your higher self, your body deva's higher self. These are aspects of you that are held in another dimension. Your team, they exist in another dimension and affect your reality. And we're asking that all three of those energies, your higher self, your body deva's higher self, your team, work with the energetic fields that are all held in other dimensions to bring you into the present breath of now. Some part of you, it's that energetic aspect of you that exists in another dimension, that holds the blueprints and the templates of what is expressed here in the physical realm, to move you into greater balance, greater stillness, greater presence. And when you simply make the request for that energetic aspect of you that exists in another dimension, the energetic aspect of your body deva, that nature spirit that you're residing in, and your team, to change their energies in this other realm, these higher dimensions, they start to reflect into this one, a more balanced, coherent vibration. Allow that energetic shift to occur within and around you. And you're simply holding with your imagination, which actually gives you access to the other dimensions. That energetic aspect of you shifting your vibrations. So often we want things within us or in our outer world. And when we know where to look and where to make those requests, it can then actually start to happen. Your higher self is connected to guides. It can receive energetic information. It can send energetic information. It can bring in vibrations of abundance, stillness, humor, happiness, joy. And as your higher self brings those vibrations in another dimension that surrounds you, or that's just above you, however you imagine it, it starts to then reflect those vibrations down to you in this physical, what I call the mini-me world. So whenever we are wanting to shift our consciousness, shift our physical reality, we want to use the other dimensions, make requests in the other dimensions where those templates, those blueprints are being held. I'm just allowing for that energetic information to be relayed from my higher self to yours. When you notice discordant vibrations, chaos, that is your indicator that in some other dimension, that chaos is actually being held. And you, residing in a physical human form, feeling all of the vibrations reflecting into this one, from the other dimensions, you have the capacity to make a request that the beings, the higher selves, the nature devas, in the other dimensions, move into greater states of coherence and balance. So they're literally going, you're not doing the work, you're simply making the request. And these energies that do exist in these other dimensions have the capacity to move into greater degrees of coherence and balance within themselves. They have the capacity to balance grids and templates. Your higher self, your body deva's higher self, and your team can relay energetic information. And when you relay that information of how it feels in the physical dimension, and you make the request for greater coherence to be held, these beings in the other dimensions start to work with these grids, these templates, these consciousnesses, and they start to move the vibrations in the other dimensions into greater states of coherence and balance. And then that is what starts reflecting down into this one. There was a question about war in the world, and is there wars actually happening in the higher realms? And my sense is that in order for a war or conflict to occur in the physical dimension, it actually starts in the higher dimensions, and then it escalates if it's not balanced in those higher realms. And so as beings of wanting to be of service and move all energies into greater coherence, we might go into a region, or we might keep focusing on an area on the planet that feels very discordant. And we can ask the higher selves, the nature spirits, Earth, Gaia, to move the energies in those other dimensions, in those other realms where the templates, the blueprints, and the consciousnesses are being held, into greater states of balance and coherence, to whatever degree is appropriate for all beings. And when you make that request at everybody's higher self, it then happens to the degree that's appropriate. You're not overriding anybody's free will and choice. You are feeling all of these other realms expressing into this one. You have the ability, feeling all of these other realms, to make requests in the other realms, simply with your imagination, your higher self, for greater coherence to be held, for yourself, for your life, for the world. Another component of the third principle of the 7 gateways embodies the concept of personal responsibility. If we take personal responsibility for everything that we create and draw to us in our life, we then have the opportunity to move out of being a victim and into greater degrees of empowerment. But so often we end up taking responsibility for other people, or we don't take responsibility for ourselves. An example of that is if you are not carrying responsibility for supporting yourself, asking other people to energetically support you. If you are not carrying responsibility for supporting yourself, you can then move into entitlement and frustration and the victim and disempowerment. And so a shift with that is to ask your higher self, your body deva's higher self, your team, to work with your energetic fields and the guides to locate all responsibilities that you have given to other people in all of your incarnations. And we just take a moment to allow that energetic aspect of you in the higher realms to locate all of those responsibilities that you've given away for all things, loving yourself, respecting yourself, supporting yourself, protecting yourself. And allow that energetic aspect of you in the higher realms to bring those responsibilities back to you, back to your higher self, bringing all of your tools, your wisdom, and your mastery for holding those responsibilities in you and on you. When we give the responsibility away to others, we don't use our tools, our mechanisms for supporting ourselves or protecting ourselves. We then use somebody else's protection mechanism, somebody else's support mechanism, and that doesn't work for us. Or we'd be asking them to do it for us instead of us doing it for ourselves. So if we hold responsibility for ourselves, then we have the capacity to do these things for ourselves, and then to magnetically draw to us situations that mirror to us how we are supporting ourselves. So if I am supporting myself 100% energetically, I'm not asking anybody else to support me. I am then going to create a reality, a world that mirrors to me how I am supporting myself. That's a lot of support. But if I'm carrying responsibility, I'm kind of segueing into a different piece here. If I'm carrying responsibility for supporting everybody else, then I start to empathically feel how everyone that I am being responsible for is feeling. My empathic sensitivity goes way up. And so you want to ask your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, your team, to locate all responsibilities that you're carrying for other people. For loving them, protecting them, supporting them, whatever it may be, respecting them, and to send all of that responsibility back to their higher selves. Anytime we carry responsibility for somebody, it is because our soul, our body, our team has energetic information for them. So we want to send the energetic information, release the responsibility, and then model right energy in our fields. So I'm just going to walk you through a little example of that. I'm going to invite your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, your team, to work with the energetic fields and the guides, to locate all responsibilities that you're carrying for other people. Let that part of you do that work. To send all of that responsibility back to its right and perfect place. As your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, and your team send all responsibilities and all relevant and appropriate information back to their right and perfect place, we ask your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, and your team to bring in the solution, to model right energy. So if you were carrying responsibility for supporting somebody, you would then ask these energetic aspects of you, your body, Deva, and your team to bring in your own support system, your own mechanisms for protecting you, your own responsibility for respecting you, your own responsibility for loving you, whatever it is. And as you bring that in around you, you are then moving into a more coherent, balanced energy and having the capacity to model that in your fields. So whomever it was that you were supporting, protecting, loving, respecting, it doesn't mean that you're not going to love people. You will, but you'll love them from an unconditional, co-creative place. So as you hold this energy in your fields of I'm supporting me, I'm respecting me, you then have the capacity to show them how to respect themselves, how to support themselves at an energetic level. Whenever we move into resentment or frustration around doing something for someone, it's because we're doing it to a greater degree than they are doing it for themselves. Kind of like a bank. A bank says, you raise 500, we'll match you 500. Same thing for other people. I will support you to the degree that you are supporting yourself. With children, they can say, I want a hug, I want you to love me. And you say, okay, you need to love yourself, bubble up self-love, and I will match you. I will love on you to the degree that you are loving on yourself. And then we can also show children or other beings, our friends, family, partners, the vibration of loving themselves to a greater degree by you loving on yourself to a greater degree. So again, it's that place of holding personal responsibility and modeling right energy in your fields. There's another component that I'd like to speak to, and that is the vibration of grace. When we experience struggle or challenge in our life, we actually want to move into a stance of grace, of allowing, of trusting that there is a greater wisdom happening, that this too shall pass. You want to feel deep inside your core where you are safe, where there is a place of neutrality and constant connection. And when the challenge arises, imagine it more as like an exam, that you have the capacity to step up to the plate, to use all of the tools that you've been gathering, to not struggle with it, but to surrender, move through it with grace, with ease, using all of the tools. realizing that you have created and drawn this situation into your life for a reason, for your own growth and evolution. And when you acknowledge that, you again move into a greater degree of empowerment, and you start to practice that which you intend to master. So when we are at a certain level of evolution, we will actually do the opposite of that which we're intending on mastering, until we start to realize that we want to practice that which we intend to master. So if I'm the victim, what my soul is really trying to master is empowerment. If I'm in a place of hopelessness, what my soul is really trying to master is to be hopeful, to hold my hope in my own field, to not be hopeful for other people, but to be hopeful for myself. So use the flip it sheet to determine whatever it is your soul is intending on mastering. We do the opposite of that which we're intending on mastering until we move to a certain level of awareness and we start to practice that which we intend to master. That plays into the third principle, because if we take personal responsibility for everything we're creating in our life, and we realize that every challenge, every situation that arises is an opportunity for growth and evolution, we then have the capacity to start practicing that which we intend to master. We get to use the other dimensions, our higher self, our team, our body deva, our guides, to model a different energy to us. So if you're struggling in like a hopeless victim place, use the other dimensions. Ask your higher self, your body deva's higher self, and your team to start holding the vibrations of hope, to bring all of your hope chips back to you, all responsibilities for accessing and creating hope back to you. All of the hopelessness that you've taken on of the world, send it back to its right and perfect place, along with all relevant and appropriate information. And then sense, see, perceive, imagine, invite your higher self, your body deva's higher self, and your team, holding this vibration of hope in the higher realms, reflecting it down to you in this mini me world. It starts to show up. Again, it's the bottom of the ocean. And so when you ask for an energy to be brought down to you, ask that your higher self hold that vibration, your body deva's higher self, your team, because those are the three energies that affect your reality here in the physical realm. It's also how we shift our energetic fields. And what we carry in our energetic fields shows up in our mind, our emotions, and our body. So again, you want to use your higher self to work with your energetic fields and the guides to start holding greater states of coherence in the higher realms, and you then start holding greater states of coherence within and around you in the physical realm. One more piece, and it's focused on the body deva and the consciousness of the body deva. If you as a soul are carrying responsibility for supporting other people, protecting other people, your body deva will mirror to you what you as a soul are doing. If your team is carrying responsibility for other people, your body deva will mirror to you what your team is doing. And so we are going to invite your body deva's higher self. It's that energetic aspect of your physical human form that does exist in another dimension, where all of the templates and the blueprints for your physical body are held. And you're just asking your body deva's higher self, however you imagine it, it's that nature spirit, to work with its own energetic fields and the guides, to locate all responsibilities that it is carrying for you, a soul, that are not appropriate, that it's carrying for your team, that it's carrying for other body devas, and others. And really allow your body deva's higher self, sense it, see it, imagine it, working with its energetic fields to locate all these responsibilities that do not belong to it. Your body deva is responsible for supporting itself, healing itself, keeping itself healthy. It's not responsible for anything else. Just as you, as a soul essence energy, the only thing you're responsible for is cultivating and connecting with your divine line that flows just in front of your spine, connecting with that liquid light. And as you, soul essence, start to move into responsibility for cultivating that light, your body deva starts to model to you what you are doing. it starts to hold responsibility for supporting, healing, protecting itself. As your body deva sends all responsibilities for managing everybody else back to its right and perfect place, along with all relevant and appropriate information, we ask your body deva's higher self to bring all of its tools, its wisdom, and its mastery for healing itself, balancing itself, supporting itself back to itself. And you're just simply holding a safe space for your body deva to do this work. It knows how. You're asking your body deva's higher self that exists in another dimension to do the work. And as it moves into greater states of coherence in the higher realms, it starts to reflect into this one. Your body starts to heal. Your body feels more supported. The cells start to balance because your body is responsible for supporting itself. And also another component is that our soul will project a lot of our issues onto our body. We'll get more into this in the fifth principle. But we might, as souls, want to learn that we are enough. And so we will then project that lack onto our body. And our body, we will perceive that our body is not enough. We could do this with our finances. We could do this with our relationships. We as souls will project our issues out. And what we want to do is we want to ask our higher self to lift all of our projections off of our body deva, off of our finances. And we as soul essence want to work on those issues at the level of our higher self, in our core, bringing those vibrations into greater states of abundance, coherence, balance, connection. Do the work, all of your issues at the level of your higher self where you can. You are a soul evolving. You have currently taken a physical human form to see the expression of where your soul is in its growth and its evolution. So use your physical dimension, your body, as your indicator of where you have the work to do. If you have back pain, that would be the indicator that you as a soul are either carrying too much responsibility for supporting other people, or you're not carrying responsibility for supporting yourself. And there's this weird energy where if you carry responsibility for supporting other people, or you're not carrying responsibility for supporting yourself, you move into the victim. The only way to hold the vibration of the empowered soul is to carry responsibility for supporting yourself, not for anyone else. And to carry full responsibility for supporting just your soul essence, not your body deva. Your body deva is responsible for supporting itself. Your team are responsible for supporting themselves. And when you carry that responsibility and you're not carrying responsibility for supporting other people at an energetic level, you can still make your child peanut butter and jellies and make your partner, dinner. But it's that place of energetically, I am responsible for supporting myself. Then we can have discernment about how much we support another, and we never give more than what can be received. I can only receive to the degree that I am receiving from myself. So if I love myself 80%, I can only receive 80% of love from somebody else. If I only love myself 20%, I can only receive love from another person 20%. And if somebody gives me more than the 20%, I start to go into a place of unworthiness. So what would be really helpful if I'm working on self-love is to have somebody model self-love within themselves to match the level of self-love that I have for myself. So if I have somebody that loves themselves 80% and I love myself 20%, or if I'm with a partner that loves themselves 20% and I love myself 80%, I will love on myself that 80%, but I will match them at their 20%. And then I will also hold love for them in my own unique way, in my own fields, not putting my love on them, because that moves us into this conditional, smothering love vibration. So it's a little bit of a deeper layer of the third principle. I'm just really going over the basic components of the third principle and how we want to hold responsibility for ourselves, model right energy, use the other dimensions to change the vibration in the physical dimension by simply making a request. Use your imagination, use your higher self. We ask for a gentle balancing and an integration of all of these pieces, these layers. We ask that you're wrapped in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing these vibrations in to whatever degree is appropriate for your spiritual evolutionary state. We are in deep gratitude to the angelic ones that do exist in the other realms, that hold vibrations of coherence, balance, and love, and model that energy to us. Let it be so.